Hello, everyone. My name is Cleandro Viana. I'm an Entrust software test engineer. Today, I'd like to walk you through the integration of VMware Tanzu Kubernetes Grid service with the Entrust nShield container option pack. And this was deployed on premises. To prepare for the integration of VMware Tanzu with the nShield software, I performed the installation using the following recommended products and versions. It is recommended that you follow the VMware Tanzu Kubernetes Grid nShield integration guide to be able to complete this integration. This guide is located on the entrust.com documentation website. So I'm here on our VMware Lab 1 vCenter, and we have 3 clusters. I have a Tanzu vCenter cluster here. I'm going to expand that, and you can see that I have deployed Tanzu. I have a Tanzu namespace here, and we have a cluster already deployed there. You can also get through here the workload management that takes you to the namespace, the clusters, and things like that. So here's our Tanzu namespace. It's running, it's active, okay, and we have 1 Kubernetes cluster running. So the first requirement is to deploy Tanzu in your environment. Just follow your VMware documentation on how to do that. It's a very involved process, but once you have the Tanzu running, the integration becomes fairly simple. And we're not going to cover the Tanzu deployment. We're just going to cover the integration pretty much. So I have my Tanzu namespace here. The next step would be to build the nscope containers. So you have to install the nShield software and the nscope option pack on a VM. We did this inside here on our on this Red Hat 8 VM. Okay, so I have both software installed. You also have to install Docker to be able to build the containers. So I'm just going to show you. I already built the container, so I'm just going to show you guys the images. So here we have 6 containers. One is the application container, the other one is the hard server container. And we built 3 flavors. An Ubuntu flavor, a CentOS flavor, and a Red Hat flavor, okay? So you can follow the nscope documentation on how to build the containers. But as you can see here, we have built the containers, and we also push them to a Docker registry that we have internally. So this is what we're going to be using. I'm going to be using the Red Hat version to show you the deployment. So I have an application container, which is just going to run inquiry, which is going to show you the version of software we're running. And then the hard server container, which is what makes the connection between the application container and the HSM. So we have that deployed here. The next step would be to deploy them. So I'm here on my test server that's going to deploy, and I created a script that's going to pretty much do all the Kubernetes commands, and I'll go over them as the script is running. Okay, so let's run this script, and you guys are going to be able to see how to deploy it. So this is how you run the script. I'm just going to give the flavor I want, Red Hat, and the first thing it does is log into the namespace to the vSphere client. So we're gonna do this. Okay, once it logs in, I see my Tanzu namespace, and I see my TKG cluster here, which I already had deployed. So I set my context to the namespace, and then I can show you guys the nodes. I have 3 nodes, the storage classes being used, and also the virtual machine images that are available. Do I want to deploy the Tanzu cluster? I'm going to say no, because it's already deployed. Yeah. So let's see what we did here. So I'm just gonna, the script goes in, and guess the cluster. So you can see that the TKG cluster is provisioned. Okay, one control plane, 2 workers, running version 1.17 of Kubernetes. And I'm just describing the cluster here. So it's just output showing what the cluster is and what it has. Then I log out because I want to log into the cluster. So the next step is logging into the cluster, the TKG cluster. I log in successfully and I set my contacts to use the TKG cluster. Now reset TKG cluster, I'm going to say yes. This is going to delete all the resources that have been created before and recreate them. So I'm just going to say yes here. So it's deleting, I had like the pods running already. So I'm going to delete all the pods. And then we're going to go through the process of recreating all the resources in the cluster. And I'll show you guys all the YAML files that we use for each of these resources. So while this is running, let's show you guys what was done here. So I deleted all the pods, I deleted the registered secrets. This is what has the passwords for the Docker registry. Okay, I deleted the config map that was used to link to the HSM. I deleted the persistent volumes that we created. So I'm just doing get nodes again, showing all the nodes. And then I'm going to create the secrets, register secrets again. Once created, here's the YAML for it. Okay. It has all the passwords to be able to connect to the Docker registry. Then I deploy my config map. The config map has pretty much the information about the HSM, so you can connect to it. Okay, and then I do my persistent volumes, which is just information, so we can store data in the persistent volume that can be read by the application. So this is the creation of the persistent volume. Then we populate the persistent volume with the world and the modules files from the HSM, so we can query the right HSM. We copy the module file, we copy the world file into there. Okay, and then we validate that these are there on the persistent volume. And next we run the application containers using Kubernetes. So this is going to create we're going to run this YAML file here. That's going to create an application container, and this application container is just going to run a query. So it's going to get our image from the registry, from the Docker registry that's needed. Okay, and it's going to run it. So this is the description of it. Okay, now you can see that the container is running. So I just do use the logs command to find out if it runs properly. And as you can see, inquiry displays the information properly for the server running 1271. And here's the module also. Okay. Then we deploy a second pod to do nfkminfo. Okay, this is just to demonstrate that we can read the world file. So we deploy an nfkminfo pod, and again it's running here. And then we do check the logs to see if an nfkminfo run. You can see that it can read the information from the world file, and it's usable by the module. So this is a good test. And the third test is a sig test command that we run just to show something else. And you can see that the sig test is going to run fine here. When you look at it, you can see that run fine. So this is how we integrate it. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with this. Just to show you, I'm going to show you the YAML files. If you guys don't mind, I will show you guys that. So the YAML files are here. Okay, so this is our cluster YAML file. Let's see if it can. Okay, so it's a control panel using the best effort small class. Okay, so we have one control panel, 2 workers, then version 117 of Kubernetes. So that's how we deploy the cluster. This is our config map. Okay, we're just putting the information for the HSM here, so we can connect to the HSM. We have the registry key YAML file. This is just a script. No, actually, it is with the Docker registry information, so we can access the Docker registry. Okay, and then here's the persistent volume definition. Okay, normal class, read write, and we map it to fast game data. And then we have the claim, and this is the how to claim it. Fairly simple. And then we created a pod to populate, right? So remember, I have to copy the mod and the world file to the persistent one. So we deploy this pod here, running this guy is just gonna do a sleep command, and while it's sleeping, I will copy the files to the nscope km data directory, which is mapped to the persistent volume, as you can see here. Okay. So as far as the application containers, so I have versions of each one of them here for Red Hat, for Ubuntu. It's pretty much running the different containers that we built. But let's show the application container for Red Hat here for inquiry. So this is a pod. It's gonna run inquiry every 5 seconds. Yeah, 5 minutes. So it's using our container image here that I have built, and is on our registry and the hardware, the hard server one. So two containers, doc containers, images, and then they're able to talk to the HSM because we have game data here. We have the socket that's the connection with the hot server, and the config map here. It's mapped to that. Okay, so and here you have the volumes, the config using the config map, and the in-scope data using the persistent volume. And the difference between this guy and the nfgame info is just going to be the command. Here is going to be an nfgame info. So if I go back there, here it is in nfgame info. It's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is the command. But this gives you guys good examples on how to use these containers inside Kubernetes. That's it. I hope this gives you some insight on how to deploy this. You guys have a great day, and thank you for watching.